Cheerio and tally ho, no DQ Galaxy. 'Tis I, the General, Jerry Slime. With me as always, the Wizard of No DQ, Stefan Osborne. And joining us today, the Birdman of Boston, Owen Finch, for our NXT party.
Everyone.
Cheerio. Cheerio, Owen.
Cheerio, yeah.
Cheerio, Owen.
I'm really excited to be on. I never thought in a million years that I would be on NoDQ.com and reviewing NXT UK. I'm really excited about it.
All right, awesome.
Well, thank you. Well, honestly, none of us thought we would be on No DQ, but sometimes you just get out there and you get on some videos, and this is what we want to do. We want to bring the NXT fans and the No DQ fans on the show and do the review with.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
we have got another double episode. The good news about these two episodes for me, we are finally at a new venue.
Yes, that was a little different. We were not in the coin exchange this time. We were actually at the Insomnia Game Festival in Birmingham. So
I thought they were both at the Birmingham Festival. I thought only one of them was.
they very well may have been, but thinking of both shows were at Birmingham, though.
I think they were both in the same spot. It looked like the same arena. It may not have been, but the arenas were at least the arena was really dark.
Yes.
Like it was not lit very well. Like the ring was lit and maybe the first few rows. So it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did like the fact that they had enough room for a traditional ramp. Starts in the middle, comes down toward the ring. Was it the initial entrance? No, we had an entrance by the Coffee Brothers and Wolfgang that was just awesome looking, and the fact that they didn't have to go to the middle of the screen and pose and then go back and go down the rampway, they just walk straight down. It works so much better, so I like the space.
It had more of a big match feel or it added that feel to each match, I think. Like so with a lot of these wrestling matches, the entrance is just as important as actually start off of the match, because it's gotta have that feel to it. It's gotta build that excitement, and I think the ramp and the stage, the way they have it set up that way, actually did that a little bit more.
Well, that was actually where we started the show. We started the show at the top of the ramp.
Yep.
We got Triple H's music.
Yeah, which we had the 8 ladies on the stage with naturally something under that blanket. Wonder what that was.
Yeah. Coming off the announcement last week that we were going to have a big announcement by Johnny Saint this week, but we didn't get Johnny Saint. We got Triple H. What do you think about this, Owen?
I knew exactly where this was going, obviously, because it had been reported and stuff, but I was pretty excited about it. And obviously this was taped in advance because at Crown Jewel, Triple H injured towards pectoral muscle in real life, and he didn't come out in a sling, so it was actually taped. But I thought this was pretty cool. I thought it was cool to see all the women out there, and I actually, I did like the design of the championship. I thought it looked like I just gave away,
It's okay.
It's all right.
They tuned in for spoilers.
It's like by this time either everybody's watched it and just want to know what we thought about it, or
they watch it so they watch us so they don't have to watch the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We watch the show so you don't have to.
But I did like the segment, and I thought it was a really cool segment. I was excited for. I am happy that we finally got the announcement of the NXT UK Women's Title, because that's been kind of a controversial topic, because Evolution, they were supposed to have an NXT UK Women's Title match, but then they scrapped it because this episode hadn't aired yet. But it's really weird too, because I'll just say the person that wins the championship has been appearing with the championship for at the NXT tapings, and I heard the person had a match on a dog match at Evolution with the title. So it's just very, very weird.
It's almost like living in the future.
Well, that's the spoiler that we know as well, and we're not going to give that away just yet. We'll follow this tournament that we're going to get. We had 8 women on the stage, and I believe I wrote them all down.
Yep.
I took a picture too, if you need me to read it that way too.
Well, the tournament starts, they say next week, but really it's next episode. Where the hell did I write all that down? I've got quite a bit of notes. We've got Millie McKenzie. We've got Rhea Ripley. We've got Toni Storm, Jenny, Isla Dawn, Dakota Kai, Nina Samuels, and Zaya Brookside.
Yep. Brookside, you couldn't remember for the life of you.
And I apologize for the correction, but it's Isla Dawn. The S is silent.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Isla Dawn. I'll get used to it eventually. Enough episodes and. But then we get Johnny Saint comes out, and he doesn't get to announce the belt. He just gets to reveal the belt.
Yeah, he gets to unveil it. That's a big deal in itself. The fact that Triple H wasn't, just to slap his hand and take the sheet off himself. But
he's like, "This is my baby."
Yep.
I thought Johnny Saint should have said a little bit more than what he did, but overall I like the segment.
We're going to get a good tournament out of it.
Yeah.
It's 8 women, not 16. 16 would have been cool, but...
Well, I was about to say, I think they're trying to fit it into like a 3-week period, though. So.
Well, I did notice there was one... Killer Kelly wasn't among the mix. I thought that was interesting, because we have seen her over the last few weeks. Only, it was one match, and she did lose.
Yeah.
So...
I was disappointed about that, because I liked her match in the Mae Young Classic with... I forget her name, not Io Shirai, but the other Japanese woman wrestler, the one that wrestled like on WCW, like the end of the WCW days. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but
neither can I.
I was disappointed she wasn't in it because I believe it's Millie McKenzie. I kind of was surprised made the cut because she hasn't even appeared on NXT UK at all.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But the novelty of her being 18 years old and would be the youngest, that's what got her in the tournament.
Yeah.
That's probably what got Killer Kelly nixed from the tournament because it can only be 8. It can't be 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first off, we get a match.
Yep.
Sid Scala versus Jordan Devlin. Sid Scala's just a jobber, man.
He's a jobber.
He's the best
through
of the jobbers. He's a super selling
yes.
fool. But Jordan Devlin's gonna win this match. We know this.
Yep.
It's a running theme in NXT, and I'm starting to get a little mad because none of the jobbers ever win, and you hardly ever see a match with two people that have winning streaks going on, and somebody has to lose. Pretty much, if they are winners in NXT UK, they have been and will be.
Yeah.
And if they're losers, they're not going to win a match.
Yeah, pretty much. I did like the Rowan springboard cutter that Sid Scala hit coming into the ring. I thought that was a nice spot.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty decent one.
Yeah, I've got a few notes for that, but let's see. Yeah, it was like an RKO. It was like a slingshot RKO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote that one down. I had Scala went to the top, but he was caught with a drop kick by Devlin, and then he ends it with that fireman's carry into the sidewalk driver.
Yeah.
And it was a good match. It wasn't great, middle of the road.
Well, I liked it also because you always see something a little bit different out of Sid Scala.
That's true.
Like he either ups his game a little bit or just shows another move. Like the neck breaker that he did halfway through a match. Granted, it didn't put Devlin down, but it was actually impressive enough. You're like, hey, this guy knows, more moves than Cena already. He knows at least 6, it seems. But it's like he's evolving is what he's doing. And I'm hoping it'll eventually lead to one of those huge upsets, which I think is going to happen. It's going to be one of those nights that all the stars are going to align, and he's going to get that one victory.
It'll be that match that you were talking about where somebody gets really hyped up and finally actually loses to a jobber.
Yeah, and that's
I think it's going to happen fairly soon because we'll get into that later because they do tie into that with the next episode.
Yeah,
that's true.
But I do think Jordan Devlin's improved because I don't think you guys watched the first UK Championship tournament. He was very green in that tournament, and he was pretty green in the second one. I noticed with...
Is that an Irish joke?
But I noticed that I noticed you can have like better matches with people that are like his size, like the Mark Andrews, so he had a really good one with Flash Morgan Webster in the second annual UK Championship tournament. So I think Jordan Devlin's slowly improving into a really good wrestler.
Well, it looks like we're coming upon a really good match out of him because he it's not a promo, he gets interviewed by Radzi, and he basically calls out Ligero.
Yeah, he pretty much says there's a masked man from Leeds back there.
Yeah, he says he's not a luchador, he's from Leeds. But they call him the Leeds luchador or something like that, the British luchador. Yeah. He's good. I like him. And this should be a good match, though.
Granted, we joked on El Ligero for his costume, his weird mask and all, but right behind that is just like a wrestling genius, a veteran, and he's doing some great work in the ring. So that's gonna be an interesting. It's gonna be a great match regardless. Like you said, that's gonna be hopefully the main event relatively soon. So.
For one of the shows.
Yeah.
One of the 2 shows we get every week. Oh, man. I really am. I can't wait for one show a week where we're just down to reviewing 1 hour.
Me too. I was trying to watch these 2 shows, 205 and NXT, and then by the time I was done with 205 Live, I tapped out for the night. I couldn't watch it. I didn't watch NXT till today, so I think it's a lot. So
it is a lot. We normally would try to watch the first hour after we do NXT and then do the video, and then the ice was so bad that I had to get him home and get myself home before anything froze. So we skipped that first hour. So tonight it was 2 hours and then the video and breaking the fourth wall. We had a bunch of problems getting this video started.
Yes, we did.
Because there's no internet here, so it's all through the mobile hotspot on my phone. And it's causing my phone to go super slow and cause problems. So I apologize if the video quality ends up being really bad or if the sound's off sync from everything else. We did our best to actually get this video out. And we wanted to get Owen on. This was his time that he could get on.
And he was infinitely patient.
We almost called him Sir Patience.
So after that, we... get into a short not really a promo.
It's a video recap, basically, of the first episode of NXT UK.
Yep. With
Mustache Mountain telling anybody and everybody to pair up and create tag teams because we want a tag team division that is worth conquering.
Yes. So that leads into pretty much three jobbers that we had seen before. And then a new guy.
You missed something.
There was actually a video package.
Yeah, Tyson T-Bone.
Finally, our first video package of the night. Everybody gets one. Tyson T-Bone gets one, and he looks badass.
Yes, he does. That's the first thing that struck me about him is the fact that, he's got a certain look to him, and he's got the tattoos, and he's got the strength, and he's got the size. I think he's going to do great things. Automatically just from the video package, because if NXT does something extremely well, it's video packages. I love their video packages.
Now, Owen, did this video package get you hyped for his debut? Well, they say next week, but next episode?
Yeah. I was pretty hyped. I don't know if it was the way he was... I couldn't understand what he was saying at first, but then I had to go back and rewatch it, but I had seen Tyson T-Bone wrestle in the first and the second UK Championship tournament, and it didn't, because he was very hit or miss, because he had a match with Wolfgang in the first one, and it was really good, but then he had a match with Jordan Devlin, which wasn't that good. And then I'll get to what I thought about his match on the next episode when we review that. But
now, you know what?
Just hyped me up. I thought he looked like a badass. I did like him, but he's very hit or miss, because sometimes he can wrestle, sometimes he can't wrestle.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you have watched the first 2 tournaments. 'Cause I think we need to pick a night, and instead of a night that we don't do this, and watch the 2 tournaments.
I'm starting to think we need to as well. So
the first one's awesome, and then the second one's really good. And you got to watch night 2 too, because that one's really good.
It's probably going to take several nights, but we should get caught. I mean, we're doing the reviews. We better know our history, and it's not that much to catch up.
No.
So we will do our best to catch that up. But let's move on because we still have the rest of this show and a whole other show to do. We do get the match. Like he said, 3 jobbers and Saxon Huxley. Or 3 people we really haven't seen. We saw Amir Jordan, but he was just a jobber.
We've seen Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan before, and we've seen Saxon Huxley. But I do not remember seeing Joseph Connors.
Okay.
And he's the one that kind of like sticks out in this match in a huge way. I mean, they're naturally bonding together because A, they haven't won, or B, they're wanting to make a splash in NXT UK, and also to take notice for the impending, I guess we can call it now, tag tournament for the first ever NXT UK Tag Championships that we still not have seen.
Now, you expressed a problem with what we've seen tonight, I think a week or 2 ago, and I tonight decided to agree with you because they mentioned 3 times at least that we have tag titles in the near future. On the same night that they debuted the women's championship.
They're taking away, it's almost like they're taking away the excitement of that belt.
They're stealing their thunder.
Yes, it's like, let the ladies have their time to shine for a little while, you know? Get this belt out of the way before you bring another one in.
Let them have 1 episode.
Yes.
2 maybe, and then start talking about, like, just have these matches. Just
have the matches, and then from there we can go, and you guys can talk about all the tag team title things you want. We don't even have belts yet, and they're, hyping this thing up.
You don't even have anybody that has officially said there will be a tag team championship.
Yeah, so.
And, of course, like you said, these are all pre-taped. These are from weeks or months ago, and we haven't heard anything yet. So why even bring it up on the same night?
They did announce something about it on WWE.com, that they announced NXT UK tag titles, but technically in this, we're just looking at it like in a box, like we have, like it's just taped, like this is live. So technically we haven't. I do agree with that, but at the same time, you do need to start getting tag teams together because I don't want to see like a bunch of tag teams thrown into the tournament.
Well, yeah, but you could do that without mentioning the impending titles.
Yes, like and then you have like these guys who fancy themselves as tag teams, more or less wrestling in more singles matches than anything else, which I think is kind of weird because you would think if they're trying to hype a whole tag team tournament, they'd be in more tag team matches. But this match, great tag match actually. I wasn't expecting much, but we had more of Amir Jordan dancing, doing his weird
dancing elf,
dancing elf India stuff, and Saxon Huxley and Joseph Connors actually look really cool as a tandem, I think.
Yeah, they look like a team, and they function pretty well as a heel team, I would say.
Yeah.
But the standouts were Kenny Williams on the face team and Joseph Connors on the heel team.
Oh yeah, well, let's go ahead and get into Kenny Williams first.
Oh yeah,
because
the classic move that blew us away the first time blew us away again because he changed it up.
He changed it up. Yes, he did the whole skin the cat thing.
Well, the cannonball kick to the outside, holding on to the top rope, skinning the cat. But instead of running back to the ropes and coming back for the suicide dive, he does the suicide dive to the other guy on the other side.
Yeah,
and it was fun.
That was a fun spot in the match, and that's some of the I'm gonna say limited offense that they got in on their end, because towards the end there, Joseph Connor
took over. He got his own version of a hot tag because he just took over and finished the match.
He just off a hot tag went in and did this running. What was it?
Sunset buckle bomb.
Yeah,
sunset flip buckle bomb.
Awesome.
That was crazy. I saw him running at him, and I'm like, oh, he's way too close to the ropes to be doing what he's trying to do. And I'm like, oh, wait. Yeah. And then I saw him put him into the buckle, and I'm like, fuck. That was sweet.
The second I saw him kind of do the sunset flip, I'm like, he's not going to. Oh, my God, he did.
And then he finishes the match off with this cradle flatliner. It's like how a Rampage...
Don't look down.
Yeah, it's called the
Down.
Goat Look Down, but it's like the Rampage is to a DDT. That's what this is to a flatliner.
Yeah.
So that was sweet. It was a good match. But then we get a promo for we're going to get Tyler Bate. Speaking of tag teams, we're going to get one half of probably the only legitimate tag team.
Mustache Mountain.
Tyler Bate versus James Drake. But of course, we've got video graphics, and then we've got an interview with Trent Seven about Zach Gibson.
Yeah, and how he's been running his mouth, and how he did great in the tournament, but came up short in the end, and basically saying that he's ready to fight Zach Gibson whenever.
Yeah, it's classic. You build up your opponent sarcastically even.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm ready for a fight. That's what I do.
It's like I'm a performer. I talk and I fight. So
now, to me this seemed a little underwhelming considering, and maybe this is skipping forward, but considering the match we got out of them,
yeah,
this seemed a little bit underwhelming as a build-up for it, because it's really the only build-up we've got since last week. What did you think about this?
I did like it, but I thought they would have done a little bit more of a build-up. But I did like it. I laughed at some of Trent Seven's jokes that he was making at Zach Gibson, like the comment when he mentioned that he's been able to get the fans to take the shoes off and stuff like that. I thought that was funny. But I did like I liked this promo. I thought it was a nice way to build up to the match, and I think this makes sense because Zach Gibson, I think what he's doing is he's going through like all of the originals of the UK Championship tournament because he plowed through Noam Dar in episode, I think it was 3.
Yeah, sounds right.
And then we'll get into what happens in episode 8.
Okay, so next we actually get the match between Tyler Bate and James Drake. They called him Mr. Mayhem. I call him Mr. Nosering.
And you also call him
Mr. Assface, because he's got his face plastered across his ass.
Yep.
He's all kinds of interesting, but he's still a jobber, even though he looks like he should be winning.
Yep. Naturally, with him, it's Grit Your Teeth. Grit Your Teeth is one of the greatest looking drop kicks I think I've seen come out of anybody, because it's just so vicious.
Yeah, it sounds it too. He slaps well. He
slaps. I haven't heard a leg slap that well since like Test.
Or Tajiri.
Tajiri did some great ones too.
But Test when he did the
last one I remember is the one that Daniel Bryan's done some like sick ones into the corner too.
Oh yes.
Well, his have been a little muted as of late because he drops into the ropes now, so he doesn't risk landing on his head.
Yeah.
But some of his, especially the last one that he would do before going into a different moveset. But this was that was the only note that I had for Drake. Yeah. Like everything else was Tyler Bate. The rest of the match was Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate won the match.
He tried to keep Tyler Bate grounded. He did try a lot of different wear down submission holds and everything, and that just wasn't working because Tyler's good at the reversals and everything like that.
Well, I think he managed to get some heel heat in the match itself, but the match really did not make James Drake look good. It was there to make Tyler Bate look good. I mean, from the point where he goes for a fake right and then clocks him with a left knockout. I mean, it's just the whole match was there to make Bate look good. He gets this wicked backdrop driver for a near fall, and then he ends the match with what we call the Peter Pan springboard.
Yeah,
into the clothesline, and then the Tyler Driver 97.
Yeah. It was pretty much, we're going to say it was a textbook Tyler Bate match.
Yeah, but if you didn't know he was going to win, you're stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah, I liked it. And
I also like his kip up.
Going back to the tag match too, Kenny Williams also when 205 Live, when they go into the UK, will do like a crossover episodes with the NXT UK talent. And Kenny Williams was on one of those episodes, so I had seen him wrestle before. And then Joseph Connors actually was in the first and second UK Championship tournament. He looked he lost the first round in the second one, and then the first one he made it pretty far in that one. And then as for and James Drake has also been on 205 Live. He was in a 6-man tag team match in like the main event. But I really liked this match. I thought it was a nice showcase for Tyler Bate, and
that it was.
Yeah, I liked it. Tyler Bate too. Like, I'm just instantly glued to the screen anytime I see Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne just have a wrestling match.
I feel that way about Pete Dunne. I don't know so much about Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate kind of, I don't know, he turns me off a little bit just because he's a little bit too aware of how good he is.
Yeah.
Or how good he thinks he is.
Well, he's got that prima donna thing to him, and I think that's part of his character. So.
Well, one match you gotta watch is NXT TakeOver Chicago, the first one. His match with Pete Dunne when Dunne won the UK Championship from him, because that.
I think I did see that match, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, that's the match when that was the best WWE match of that year in 2017, and he really is as good as he say he is. I think he's awesome.
So after this is a odd sight on any WWE program. To basically get the WWE Network's version of commercials, I think it hyped either the network or maybe it hyped the next pay-per-view or whatever, and then it did a graphic reminding you about the Women's Championship tournament next week, but then right into another match.
Yeah.
No video packages, no interviews.
Nope.
No promos in the ring, right into the main event of the night. And before we get into the main event of the night, you have watched the show, so you know how we rate the main event, so keep that in mind. It will be on you to rate the match first as our special guest. But this was Ashton Smith versus Wolfgang in the match we were supposed to get several episodes ago, but didn't because Ashton was attacked.
Yeah.
This I was immediately drawn to this match because when Wolfgang came out, I'm pretty sure he's got new music. Like there's this beautiful howl. Straight into some music that is perfect for him to come out with the Coffee Brothers alongside of him. Just, cross-armed looking badass. Just flanking him.
I think he's always had this theme song.
Oh, but is the Wolf Howl new?
No, he's always had it. It was really weird because they tried to make it seem like he turned heel, but he always kind of worked heel when he was during his wrestling matches. Like,
yeah, I think Cindy mentioned that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, she made mention of that, and the fact that right from the get-go, like his first match on NXT UK was against Tyler Bate, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
So he was already on that border heel, but at the same time, it wasn't really well established until he joined up with the Coffee Brothers.
Yeah, pretty much the only signs of facedom that you had out of him as a baby face was the little bit of cocky respect that he was showing in the ring in his first outing.
Yeah. You didn't really get the fact that he was going to go full blown like he has in the past week or so.
But if this is the first time you've ever seen him and you don't know any of his indie work, then it's a pretty good chance that you were swerved.
Yeah. So
I like this match. I think this match, as good as Ashton Smith looks like he's going to be, because he was a tremendous, I guess, high flyer.
Yeah.
Fancy acrobatics and shit. But Wolfgang just looks fucking awesome.
Yes.
He looks like the leader of this group. I mean, the Coffee Brothers really didn't have to get involved, even though they were there.
That's something that kind of threw me off for the match, was the fact that you had the Coffee Brothers there, but there was limited to no interference whatsoever out of it. They were just there, and it was turned into an incredible match with two very conflicting styles.
Yeah, but Wolfgang shows not only his experience. He counters. Ashton comes off of the top rope. I don't know what he was going for, but he gets countered into this gut buster.
Yes.
This backstabber style gut buster.
Yep.
But then just the power, where Wolfgang pulls him. Ashton is sitting in the corner, and Wolfgang just pulls him out and slings him into the corner in that hard style where he comes off the corner. He doesn't even stay. Just Wolfgang looks awesome in this match, and Traditionally, I go back and forth between heel and face. It all depends on the character. I am solidly behind Wolfgang at the moment.
Yes. So we get to also see the cross thigh press, as I guess we're calling it now, because like he pulled it off not too long ago, but this time he pulled it off in the corner, I believe, against Ashton Smith. So.
Well, Ashton still looked good. Like, he does this leapfrog over, how did I forget his name? Wolfgang. He does this leapfrog over Wolfgang into the corner, but then does a springboard out of the corner. Now, he was going for a crossbody, but he landed awful low, and they even called this on commentary.
Yeah.
But it still looked okay. We played it back. It was all right.
We like, Stefan and I were discussing what move we would rather see off that springboard instead of the body press, because we see that a lot, but then also the fact that it's kind of difficult to get the accuracy for that one too, and it didn't look nearly as impactful. Plus, you can tell there's a little bit of a cut there, like they had to pick the best version of it, best angle in there.
So there's only one move I can think that I would like to see less come off of that setup, because that was a sweet setup. Leapfrog over his back, into the springboard out of the corner. The only move I'd like to see less would be a double axe handle.
Yeah.
Anything else would have been super impressive.
Yes.
This was meh looking, especially with the collision. It was almost to his thighs, basically. It was pretty low.
Yeah. What do you think? What kind of move would you like to see pulled off out of there? Or has he tried anything different off the springboard like that? Do you know of? Or
I've only seen like a handful of his matches, so it's really tough to say. But I would like to see him to do like maybe like a head scissors off the springboard or something. That would be really cool.
That'd be sick.
Oh, if he could get that air, that would be awesome.
Yes, it would be.
Head scissors into anything.
Yeah, well, the trick is with that though, he was just going too low with the body press alone, so that'd be almost like, that'd be a near kick to the crotch.
Well, with the momentum that he had coming off the corner, I was thinking like a diving or a leaping headbutt.
Yeah.
Just into the shoulder, and it would have been different because I don't think I've ever seen anybody do a springboard headbutt. Sounds dangerous. Maybe you shouldn't do that. That's a recipe for concussion. But Wolfgang he dominated this match, and he hits this running cross senton to a seated Ashton.
Yeah.
And that was just awesome looking. Again, something I have never seen before.
Yeah.
And then he ends the match with what he calls the trap leg suplex. It's basically a one-winged angel setup into a flip over diamond cutter. And I say diamond cutter because this was not an RKO. He hit it holding that was the difference.
Yeah.
He's holding both arms on all the way down. It was an absolute brilliant looking move.
We actually had to go back a couple times. It's like that. Just the fluidity of it and everything. It was hard to capture what all was going on, but at the same time, it was impactful. It was crisp looking. It was a great finish to the match.
Yeah, and then they end the show with him and the Coffee Brothers standing dominant in the ring, cross-armed again, just looking like badasses. What'd you think about the ending of this show?
I like the ending, and I like the finish because that was the first time he had hit that finisher. Because before he would his finisher was the Swanton Bomb, but I guess since he's full-blown heel now, it makes sense to change his finish. And I like the finish of the match. I thought it was really good. It kind of came out of nowhere too because I didn't expect it, and I kind of like it when matches kind of end in a way where you would see them with moves you wouldn't normally see them pinned sometimes. So I liked it.
I can kind of see that because I actually like when anytime a wrestler comes back or a wrestler like changes from heel to face or face to heel, it has a different finishing move. Because
well, a Swanton is just so flashy that it's likely to get applause and the good heat just because a guy that size is doing something like that off the top rope.
And you have like a wrestler like my favorite in the world, Chris Jericho. and he had the like Walls of Jericho and the Lion Salt for the longest time, but then he came back after a while with the whole code breaker.
Well, the Lion Salt was never really a finisher in WCW or WWF. It was more like a setup, but it's hard to get too far as a guy that only does a submission as your finisher, because there are some guys that just don't tap.
Yeah.
You're not going to face Stone Cold and get him to tap out.
No. He just passed out from severe blood loss.
Right. So the code breaker was genius, and it was a move that I had never seen before. I'm sure it was done previously, and you can probably tell me everybody that did it.
No, he from what I gather, he actually it's one of those moves that you don't really see very often. Probably he probably picked it up in Mexico or Germany somewhere down the line at some point, but at the same time, it hadn't really been done on WWE television. He didn't really
that's for sure.
So it was flashy, it was new, and it was effective.
Yep.
So plus it was a quick finish compared to those other moves that involved a whole bunch of different setups and everything.
Now this move from Wolfgang was impactful. It didn't look flashy necessarily, but it was different. But that brings us to the end of the main event, and around here we rate the main event with a system of out of 5 spots of tea. So we're going to get our teacups here. And Mr. Owen Finch, out of 5 spots of tea, where do you rate this main event overall? Match, including the little bit of aftermath.
Yeah.
I really like this main event. I don't think it was quite a 4 cups of tea. I would give it 3 3/4. I thought it was a really good main event. I'll give it 3 3/4.
Okay.
All right. I'm about with him on this, because as much as we were discussing it, I think more last night with your there wasn't really a story involved here. It was a great match. It was a great showcase for both of them, and it really showed a whole new side of Wolfgang for me. This is the most invested I think I've been in a Wolfgang match since he actually went heel. Is the fact that he was going against somebody that was a little more different from his style, and there was a big match feel to it. And I think it was also the fact that we had the audience that wasn't singing the entire time or yelling the entire time.
Or making jokes. Although they did laugh a few times, but you couldn't really hear any setup, so maybe they were laughing at something they saw. It was a smaller venue. I like the fact that it was more of a showcase match where Ashton wasn't just a jobber.
Yeah.
And it still made Ashton look okay, but Wolfgang looked great. But you're right, there was no story. So my rating's got to go down. Where do you rate this?
I'm gonna say 3.5. I'm gonna go with 3.5, because even though there was no story, there's enough action to actually keep me focused, and the fact that it was a clean finish. I like clean finishes in matches, especially if there's people outside that could interfere or throw a wrench into things. And there was no post-match assault this time. It was a clean finish and a great match.
Well, the fact that you had the Coffee Brothers out there, but they didn't get involved because they didn't need to, that's a little bit of a story for me. But yeah, the fact that there really was no story told in the ring, I would have agreed with him, because it was such a great match, and it made me really, really love Wolfgang as a character right now. But I got to go with you. I'm going to take it down because there was no story. Because I love a story.
Yes.
I'm going to go with 3.5 spots of tea as well. And that wraps up episode 7 of NXT UK. And the first half, hopefully we can get through the next episode faster. But the first half of this episode of NXT Party. But we're going to go right into episode number 8 of NXT UK. And we start this one off with a video package for the NXT UK Women's Championship Tournament for the new title.
I actually like this introduction better than I like the unveiling of the belt, because you got a better look at the belt this time around, and Triple H showing it to him, and I even said I like this one better.
You got to see each of the participants get an up close
They got very Lord of the Ringsy with it. They're like they're like touching it like.
It brings it on a personal level.
Yes.
So this episode is where we're going to start to see the quarterfinals for the women's tournament.
I like too in the video package how it gave like the stats and it gave like when they debuted, and I feel like those debuts were pretty legitimate. Like some of them were like at like random NXT like house shows that they did.
Yeah, but some of them were for like Access. I think some of them were for a different show. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, they had all their
classics.
Well, that one too. But we're going to start right off on this show with the first quarterfinal match for the tournament for the women's championship, and we're going to see Dakota Kai versus Nina Samuels. Now we have Dakota Kai, who has 2 wins in NXT UK, and we have Nina Samuels, who has 2 losses and no wins. And I don't know if you can guess who's going to win this match, but I'm betting you guessed right. What did you think about this match, Owen?
I really liked it. I thought it definitely picked up towards the end, and I thought it was exactly what I know technically this is like the quarterfinals, but this is really the first round since it's like the first, bracket. Yeah. But it's exactly, because I like in tournaments, like the first round shouldn't be like all spectacular. You want to kind of save it for the finals. So I really liked this match. I really liked some of the kicks Dakota Kai was hitting. And I thought Nina Samuels looked pretty good in this match, but I thought it was kind of more of a showcase for Dakota Kai than Nina Samuels. But it wasn't a squash.
I love Dakota Kai to pieces, don't get me wrong, but Nina Samuels is my girl. She's been doing great. She's pretty much been the Sid Scala of the women's division.
She's a jobber, but she looks great in the process. I think the first half of this match showcased her.
Yes,
Samuels
really
looked great. She looked super powerful.
Oh yeah, especially with that gory special.
Yeah.
Or because
gory special.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that in so long, and I was glad to see that. I was hoping she would turn it into a Widow's Peak. Because I hadn't seen that move in forever,
Or just a gory bomb, even.
Or a gory bomb, yeah. But she really didn't do much of anything else with it.
Well, she was going for a submission, and Kai broke out of it. And they're like, oh, that's how you break out. She broke the hands. And it's like, how about just unhook your feet from around their thighs? But apparently that's impossible, even though I've seen people... I think she went for a roll-up, but she didn't get a pin.
That's the other thing. We need to touch on that just real quick. The commentating is kind of lackluster in the past couple weeks, especially with NXT UK, and like either they'll be repeating themselves a lot, or they'll get distracted and not be talking about the match at hand, or they'll be calling out the wrong moves, and it's just not gelling with me. I'm not sure what it is, but
it might be. The problem is that I think the commentary is clearly, obviously, these were taped, and you can clearly see that the commentators aren't there because these were house shows. So
because of the green screen.
Well, that tells you that the commentators should be even more on it. But there were times where just their bad commentating just turned me off.
Yeah.
And both of them had it over the last 2 weeks. The last 2 episodes. The first episode, Vic Joseph was just like, "Oh, come on, brother. There's got to be a million people better than you." But then the second episode...
It was Nigel.
Yeah, Nigel McGuinness was just so many different... And it's weird because it was also the episode that I really saw him come out as the heel commentator that he was. But at the same time, it was like... He was making... I don't know if it was just bad off comments, like stuff that wasn't actually... I can't remember. I just remember that it pissed me off a little bit. And I was like, can we just mute this? But then we wouldn't get to hear the crowd. And the crowd at a show in UK or in England is half of the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something else I do want to say is I think Dakota Kai either needs to get a new finisher or be better at perfecting a finisher because that code red into the backstab, I think I don't know what's going on, but it feels like it's not being hit very smooth. I don't know if it was in this match or a match I saw in NXT, but...
Yeah, I was about to say, there was one time Stefan and I have actually seen her do it great. And I think it was the fact that...
it was either this past NXT or the NXT before. that it was on a regular NXT that she executed it brilliantly.
Yeah.
It looked amazing.
But I think...
But the NXT UK prior to that,
yeah,
she executed one that was so badly botched, it looked like they had to go back and redo it, and it didn't go well the second time either.
No.
Yeah.
So, this time around, she didn't call it the
Kai de
Gras. It was actually the chiropractor. And I'm like, so are they just going to name it something different each week? Is that what's going to go on from here?
Well, she is the epitome of babyface. She gets worked over for most of the match. She makes her comeback at the end. She hits the moves that everybody wants to see. She leads up to it different. In this case, she does this drop kick where she's holding on to Samuels. She drop kicks her into the corner down, and then she goes to the corner and does her runaround face wash. And then that stuns her, and she gets up, and then she does the runaround face wash standing, which is a reverse of what she used to do. But now that she's done it 2 times in a row, it's like, okay, we get it. It's in reverse. And I liked the chiropractor. This time, it looked like it was executed properly. It just looked forced.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't so fluid. Like, she jumps on her back, and she's like, okay, now you fall backwards. It looked a little forced, but it didn't look as bad as that first time we saw it, where we tore it apart. I don't know if you remember that episode. But Dakota Kai wins, and so she advances, and Samuels is out of the tournament. And next we have an interview by Radzi of Mark Andrews. And Mark Andrews wants gold. What do you think about this?
So, I like it. I do think it's kind of weird that he said he's going to take a break from the Coffee Brother feud, but maybe that's going to play in later on in NXT UK in the future. But I like it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this. I thought he was going to say he wanted the NXT UK title, because he's kind of been like a top contender usually for the NXT UK championship. But he bet the tag team titles, which, as of like these shows haven't been announced yet. So I thought that was kind of weird.
Well, right now he's a babyface, and so is Dunn. I think Dunn's a babyface. I'm not positive.
Dunn's whoever he wants to be. He's the champion.
Yeah, I think in UK he's definitely a babyface. He can do no wrong. So I think right now Mark Andrews should not be in the title picture, because it's not right. Dunn needs a good heel or 2 or 7 to come and contend for the title. But as it happens, he was basically talking about the tag team champions, because we had the man with 3 names. We had Flash Morgan Webster interrupt the interview. And this was kind of a red carpet interview or something. It looked weird. It looked like they were outside in front of those curtains that they put up that say NXT UK. But still, basically, it looks like it's setting up what we thought was going to happen anyway, a tag team with Flash Morgan Webster and Mandrews.
Yeah.
Are you excited about this tag team?
I can't really say I'm excited, but it actually makes sense. Like, you saw them in the 6-man tag, and they didn't really do anything to gel together, but at the same time, they're somewhat effective, I guess you could say. And they've got similar styles to them, and this way, you're not really going to be necessarily taking a coffee break. Get it? Coffee break.
Yeah.
But
double pun, coffee break. Because he's taking a break.
Yes, he's taking a break.
They are on a break.
Yes.
Okay. Pivot. Okay, my bad.
But, oh my God. All right. That's going to set up for... That's going to be one of the matches. It has to be in the tournament at some point. It's going to be those two against Coffee Brothers.
Yeah, because he says he's going to take a break from the Coffees, but really, he's going to find a tag team partner and go right back into this feud, which is fine with me. I'm digging it. But
so he's going to have his cake and eat it too. Really, if they can beat the Coffees, great. They get their revenge, but they also move forward in the tournament and possibly get crowned the first NXT UK tag champions.
Now, what do you think, Owen? Do you like the idea of this tag team, or do you think these two are better as single stars?
I like them being a tag team. I think they could work really well as a tag team. I think eventually they'll go back to being single stars, though, too, because I think they're really good single stars, but I actually would like to see them as a tag team. I think they could... they both have like the same style of wrestling. They're both pretty much high flyers, so I like it. Plus, it adds star power to like the tag team championship tournament too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Radzi gets around. Now we have an interview. I don't think they showed Radzi, but you could clearly tell it was his voice. He's interviewing Ashton Smith about his loss this past episode 7, to Wolfgang, and I don't know. He just says some stuff, and then Eddie Dennis shows up.
Yeah, all I heard is want, and then Eddie Dennis shows up. And I'm like, now I'm all ears.
Now he's just standing over this motherfucker. Like,
I think he said like he's not going to make any excuses about his loss or something like that. It
was more of the whole, happy-go-lucky face thing. It's like, well, I did my best. And
standard face promo. Move on to Eddie Dennis.
I came up short. It's like I have no one to blame but myself. And then Eddie Dennis shows up and tells him if he wants to see more or less greatness, go ahead and watch his match next week. And
wait, did he say watch my match next week, or did he challenge him to a match next week?
No, he said watch his match because.
So hopefully this is building to more.
It could be. I'm thinking. Naturally, he's not going to go right after Pete Dunne or anybody else at this point. He's gonna start building up a little bit of a body count, and I think Ashton Smith would be the perfect first real rivalry for him in here. So, what's your thoughts on this? Naturally, with Eddie Dennis.
I like this because this gives him like a nice feud to be in. I think what's going to happen with Eddie Dennis eventually is in his video package he mentioned Mark Andrews and Pete Dunne. I think he's going to feud with Mark Andrews first, just because they talked about how like they have a lifelong friendship, and they actually, I did like a little research. They actually have like a little bit of history together in Progress Pro Wrestling, where they had matches there before too. So
yeah,
I think I'm pretty excited about that. And I gotta say, Eddie Dennis too. Like when I saw him in the video package, he was a lot taller and like bigger than I thought he was gonna be. Like he looked.
That was me too. I was like
tailored suits.
Yes.
He was the youngest principal at a prestigious college, not a college, it was some sort of school.
Yeah.
And a private school, that's what they call it.
Yeah, private school.
It's got to be the tailored suits. Most tall guys look tall in regular videos because their suit jackets come up halfway up their forearms, and then their shirts are just barely at their wrists, and nobody can see what I'm doing. But yeah, probably the tailored suits. So he doesn't look super tall in videos, but then he gets in the ring with these guys, and he's got to be the tallest guy in NXT UK right now.
Yeah, he's tall, he's lanky, but he's got the power and everything to him. And he tells Ashton, "Go ahead and watch my match next week." And
so they're gonna feed him another jobber, but then prep him for an actual feud match with Ashton.
I think so.
Even though Ashton's kind of a jobber too.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes. But up next, we get another of the jobber of all jobbers. I called him Jobber Jake because his last name is incredibly hard to pronounce. We had to pause it to write down the whole thing. I'm going to give it my best shot. Constantinu.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
He gets to play jobber to the debut of Tyson Tebow.
The debut. And
I wonder if Matt Riddle watches your show, by the way, because he said that on NXT this week.
Yes, we mentioned that last night. Yeah, that was awesome, and he thought maybe he watched, and so I sincerely apologized for forgetting his name a few weeks ago. But yeah, that was fun. Or maybe he's done it all along and we didn't know.
If he's watching, thank you for tuning in and everything, and that was just an honor. I guess.
Absolutely, but I don't want to jump to conclusions. It's probably a fairly typical joke sometimes for the word debut.
But the
fact that he's in NXT and the fact that you used that joke probably well before he would have taped that interview is fun to imagine. But off to the just squash match for Tyson T-Bone. He looked amazing as he was supposed to based on the video package that he got.
His entrance alone, very meat and potatoes, just coming out looking badass, and just smiling and laughing all the way down the ramp. Like, it's like, you're going to get your ass kicked, you're going to lose. This is going to be hilarious.
They're selling this guy on the commentary team as he's coming out, talking about he's got tattoos all over his body, but foremost, he's got the Virgin Mary on his right fist, on his hand, as an apology for every punch that he delivers. I thought that was fun. They also mentioned that he was trained by Killer Kowalski, which I know he liked.
Well, of course, because, like, you know, Triple H was trained by Killer Kowalski as well, and a whole bunch of other people, but, like, Triple H alone said, you know, that says a lot right there. So, but...
This was a squash match.
Yeah.
You know, he comes off, and by he, I mean Jobber Jake. Jobber Jake comes off the ropes and gets clocked.
Yes.
With a short arm, I call it a short arm right hand. Right hook almost, a really tight right hook. Just clocked. Then he picks him up, and he short arm clotheslines the shit out of him. And just folds him over, and then pins him. Yeah. I mean, this was a squash match.
Yeah, like that punch that that they were talking about, or the Virgin Mary punch, more or less. It sent him on Dream Street. He was damn near Sin Indian style in midair.
I would have rather see that be the finisher than him pick him up for the short arm clothesline, but it was a devastating clothesline.
Yes.
Did you enjoy this match as short as it was?
I actually did not. I thought I didn't think Tyson T-Bone looked very impressive. I thought his moves didn't really look very impactful, and I still think he looked very green. I didn't really. I mean, I was all right with the squash, but I just didn't think he looked. I thought like he would have hit like a lot more impactful.
You would have liked seeing more about him in like his debut at least, but. Yeah.
I have to say, if I wasn't watching the match with this guy, with the General, then I would probably have agreed with you. But when he started talking about him being trained by Killer Kowalski and what kind of match that he expected to see out of him, it was exactly the match that I saw out of him. He's really basic. He's meat and potatoes, as he likes to say. And he looked powerful with all of his meat and potato moves. He looked like he's just going to beat you down with simple stuff because he doesn't need anything more. And then he's going to finish you off with a punch and a clothesline and he's going to win. He's just super powerful. I think it made him look good in that respect. He didn't need any flash. He didn't need anything special. He just beat him up and pinned him.
Yeah.
So this ends up being the first of dueling jobber matches. Because as he gets done and he cuts a promo that's really short, just basically saying, this is the best you can give me. That was pathetic. You know, he calls Jobber Jake a joke.
Well, here's the thing with that. Like, he did that effectively, as did Eddie Dennis a couple weeks ago. But that was also mid-match. He just screamed,
yeah,
10
that was
years.
off mic.
It's like 10 years. This is what you give me. This, you know. So
well, he cuts this promo and goes to leave, but then this is where it becomes dueling jobber matches.
Because he's already saying like he doesn't feel challenged. So naturally,
out comes the challenge.
Yeah, I was about to say they did something I haven't seen yet, which is roll right into the next match. It's like he's not even all the way up the ramp.
Yeah, it's for the purposes of crossing paths because you get the stare down between the two behemoths, and by behemoths we mean Mastiff comes out.
Yes.
Dave Mastiff, because he's about to have a match. We knew this before. We didn't mention it. It was just a graphic. So we're getting into the Dave Mastiff match. But there's that stare down, and Mastiff is like, "Oh, that was great. That was nothing. Well, just watch this."
Yeah.
But we get him to watch it. T-Bone stays. He goes to the top of the ramp, goes to the corner, and he waits to watch the match. And at first, I thought he was going to attack the opponent, whoever it might be. Turns out it was a guy by the name of Dan Maloney, spelled like baloney almost, or sounds like baloney.
Yeah.
It's not spelled by baloney is spelled extremely weird.
Yes.
The word baloney, but we will get into that. Mastiff looked great, like he did in his first squash match. It was another 3-move match essentially.
Yeah.
Again, I've got it in 3 lines. He does a really dirty looking drop kick into that 22 stone senton.
Yeah.
Then he does this headbutt and a deadweight German into the corner. And now that he's got him set up in the corner, he does his cannonball, which is just suicidally brutal looking. Like it looks like he's going to crack his own skull, and he looks like he's going to crush this guy in half.
Yes.
And if you can imagine what being crushed in half looks like. And that was it. Did you like it? Did you enjoy the match?
I liked it. And I liked what they were setting up here. This reminded me of, even though in NXT they did the same thing with Baron Corbin, and you might never heard of this guy, but this guy named Bo Dempsey, where they did the exact same thing, where they did like what you could do, I could do better type of thing, where they're trying to outdo each other with how fast they can beat their opponents. This is the exact same thing here. And you probably didn't see that, but on the YouTube channel, they uploaded a video where they almost had like an altercation again, and Johnny Saint had to come break it up, like backstage. It was really cool. So I'm actually excited to see them have a match. And I think, as Tyson T-Bone, has more squash matches, I think he'll develop more of like a moveset and stuff. So I think I'll be more excited for it.
Pretty much anything you can do, I can do better.
Well, I want to take this opportunity as a lead-in to it's sort of off topic, but sort of right on the money. This is the kind of feud that should build to a pay-per-view match. But as far as I can tell, we're not going to get an NXT UK pay-per-view.
No.
One day.
Best I can hope for is they put an NXT UK match on an NXT takeover. But I'm not even sure if that would happen.
But if they do something like that, it only makes sense to call it the instead of like it be called NXT takeover, it'd be NXT UK Invasion, which I because that you had a British United
the British
Kingdom,
Invasion, yeah.
So I think that'd be a really cool name.
I don't know. I think that's overplayed for anything British to US, the Invasion. It's overplayed in WWE for sure, Invasion, but
the Invasion.
Well, next we have Radzi in the back interviewing. Well, not in the back. I think it was on that red carpet thing again, interviewing Sid Scala about all of his losses. Like Sid Scala has not won a match yet, and will he win a match? Who knows? Who knows?
But he also addresses the fact that he's going to go talk to Johnny Saint and see what he can do about that. But
he says all he needs is another opportunity.
Yes.
Now, do you think that he's going to succeed with another opportunity based on how he's looked?
Probably not. I think it's going to be an underdog storyline where he'll keep getting opportunity after opportunity, and then, like you guys have been saying, he's going to catch somebody off like a victory, like a surprise win. And I like this because even the jobbers get like a storyline. I think it's kind of cool. You never really see a jobber. The biggest like example I can think of is, and I can't think of his name at the moment, but he was a jobber like in the early 90s of WWF. Barry Horowitz.
Barry Horowitz, because he beat Skip Chris Candido in like a match, and that just threw everybody, and that's where we get Horowitz wins. Wins.
I think the last time that I really saw jobber and lower card storylines flourish was when we had the Hardcore Championship belt.
Yeah.
That was because it was a title, so they built loose storylines, but storylines, and oftentimes they were multiple feuds going on with the same people, and I enjoyed some of those, as little sense as they made. And as bad as some of them were, but at least they were storylines for the undercard. In this case, I agree with you.
One we didn't say is James Ellsworth. Because he was a jobber originally, and he was just, and he beat AJ Styles 3 times apparently.
Quick question though, and this is aimed to either one of you. If Sid Scala does pull off the upset, who do you think it should be up against? If it's gonna be naturally a heel.
Yeah, that's what makes this hard.
But there's so many great heels that, it's one of these things where it's like, who would he pull off the victory against, or who'd you like to see?
Drake.
James Drake? That'd be really cool.
No, because he's not established enough. I'm trying to look through my notes for a good name.
You know who mine would be? Eddie Dennis. And this is why. Because, if maybe he gets to, maybe he's about to enter a feud with Mandrew, or Pete Dunne or something. He gets distracted at the top of the ramp or something. Turns around, gets schoolboyed by Sid Scala. Sid Scala gets the pin, and crowd just goes apeshit. Eddie Dennis has even more fire and even more chips falling off him than anything else, and that I think that would just be insane.
I would go with Zach Gibson.
Oh, Zach Gibson would be good.
Because think about the heat that he gets in a bad way, and transfer that to the underdog Sid Scala that gets the babyface win over such a bad guy. Again, I say every week the crowd hates Gibson because of who he is. Yes, thank you. It's not because they hate his character; they hate him. I don't know what he did to them,
The funny
but they
thing
hate
about
that guy.
Zach Gibson too was when I saw him originally come out in the UK Championship tournament this year, the one that he won. He didn't have like a logo. He had like the most generic theme song ever. Like we thought he was going to be out the first round of the tournament, and he made it all the way through. And I never would have predicted that. And I think he gets more heat right now than Tommaso Ciampa does. Honestly, like he gets booed.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, but before his left foot even leaves the curtain area, they know who's coming out, and he instantly starts booing. The second he gets the microphone and starts talking, it's almost like canned boos. Or
it's Elias in Seattle boos. It's like he did the Elias in Seattle joke about the Supersonics to them off air sometime early on, and they've just been booing him since. Every time they see him, they boo him. He's in the backstage last week or a couple weeks ago. He's in the backstage doing an interview, and you can hear the audience still booing him from out in the arena. He gets major heat. And if Sid Scala beat him, transfer that bad heat to Sid Scala and his victory, and I think that's the perfect guy.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Zach Gibson should be the guy.
Oh, and I think that would be pretty great too.
So up next we have another match in the quarterfinals or the first round of the Women's Championship Tournament. We're going to get to see the debut of Jenny.
Yeah.
And also the debut of Millie McKenzie, who is 18 years old. They call her Suplex Millie, and she was trained by Pete Dunne.
Yep.
And I kept waiting for suplexes and waiting for suplexes.
Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. She was trained by both.
I think they said Trent Seven. Maybe all three of them. Who knows?
She may have been team.
She was trained in British Strong Style, basically.
And you see a lot of that in a lot of her holds and her moves and everything. But the real story for me was Jenny, because they had been hyping her for weeks.
Well, McKenzie looked really green and basic, as you described what was it, the previous match?
Yeah.
Or one of the previous matches. She looked really green and basic, but she looked all right. And when she finally did do some suplexes, those were some sweet German suplexes. They called them release, but they look like German drivers.
Yes.
To me. What did you think about the debut of these two women superstars, Owen?
I thought they looked impressive. Ginny was in the Mae Young Classics this year. I believe she wrestled Toni Storm in the first round, and obviously she was eliminated. And one thing I liked that Ginny did was she did this submission where she almost did like a Romeo special, I believe it's called, where she like trapped her legs. Yes. I thought that was awesome.
The whole sequence. Now hold on. I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt, but I've got this whole sequence. She slides under Mackenzie's legs, but does a 180 as she slides, trips the legs up, but she does a front roll, like through the V in the legs to keep the legs on, bring them up, and do. It was a kind of a surfboard, but she had her legs through. We called it a seated surfboard, and it looked really cool, especially with the work that she had been doing on the shoulders.
Yes.
I actually wish that was the finish. I thought just because that submission looked so devastating too.
There's not really many ways out of it. Sure. Yeah.
Well, she gets a. Mackenzie looks okay. I guess they're trying to make her look good because she's 18, and this is going to be a sweet story whenever she does win the title. She had a wicked spear. The two German drivers, but Jenny, she's the heel. She's got to move forward because she's going to meet a face in the next round, inevitably. and she counters that third German with this run into an arm drag into the turnbuckle.
That was a steamboat arm drag, is what that was. That's my favorite arm drag, 'cause it just looks. It's unlike anything else. You see a steamboat arm drag, you know where it's coming from. But I've never seen it done into a turnbuckle like she did it, and it looked painful, but also was just graceful and great looking. So
it was almost like a quick snap arm drag into the turnbuckles too.
Yeah.
And then she picks her up and she does this ripcord into a rolling wheel kick. And that's the end of the match. We knew it before the pinfall even started.
Yeah.
Jenny wins the match over the debut. Well, obviously, debuting overall, the brand new legal to be on TV and wrestle 18-year-old Mackenzie.
Yeah.
She looked good, but I didn't think she was going to get far. Anyway, no. I mean, we all know who's going to win, and so I knew she wasn't going to make it to the finals. But
and Ginny had vignettes building up to her debut too. So
yeah,
they wouldn't have. They like you and I had that discussion too about the whole tournament. Is the fact that if Ginny was going to be brought in for that, they weren't going to have her lose her first match there. So they're going to feed her somebody just to build up more, more buzz around her. So
we've got the first two quarterfinal matches knocked out. What do you think about this tournament so far, Owen?
I like the tournament so far. I was surprised they did 2 matches in one show. I thought it was going to be they would do a match weekly, but maybe they want to get this. I wonder if these matches add to, like some of them are going to air on a tape delay, but maybe they want to get as many matches out of the way because they know, people already know who wins. So.
Well, I'm hoping this is foreshadowing to us not having 2 episodes every Wednesday soon.
Yes.
Getting all of this out of the way, and let's just get caught up and go to 1 episode a week.
I like too when they showed the graphic again too. They had that edit where they faded the person that would get eliminated out of the tournament.
And they had that little red line through him. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
So up next, we're going to get a continuation of a storyline that we're going to build to. Turns out next week.
One thing I want to say about Ginny is I thought she would have been dressed more fashionable since she's supposed to be the fashion character. I didn't think she was dressed as fashionable as I thought she was going to be.
Maybe not as flashy, but I think her onesie, I think that was probably a good attempt at looking fashionable, but also be, fitting for wrestling. Yeah, practical for wrestling. I thought it was okay, but honestly, I don't know what real fashion looks like, so go figure.
I wasn't expecting her to come out in some Lady Gaga crap, but it was almost like watching MVP when he first debuted, because you had him in all these nice suits and everything, but then he came out looking like a Power Ranger. So,
well, next up we get a video recap of Jordan Devlin and his match in his I think last episode or the episode before. But he wins his match, but then goes on to cut a promo specifically on Ligero.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like Ligero because Ligero is not even a luchador.
Yeah.
Or I guess it's all entitled, but whatever. But then we get a video package from Ligero. Great video package, by the way.
Yes.
But this is building to a match next week. And so we're finally getting some of these little feuds, be they only a few episodes long. And it seems shorter when they're putting 2 episodes each week. But I'm enjoying this. I think Ligero looks awesome, even though he does look like that in human form with horns. But I'm looking forward to that match next week, so that's going to be awesome. But up next, we finally... Well, what do you think about this match and this build-up for their match?
I'm excited about the build-up. Well, I'm excited about the match. I think the match was a little rushed. I think they should have waited maybe another week or so. Have Ligero do an actual promo on, I almost said Finn Balor, but Jordan Devlin.
That's good.
But I think I would have waited another week. But I'm really excited about this match. I think it's going to be a nice fast-paced match too, because Ligero is really fast. Ironically enough, is Jordan Devlin's actually kind of won because he really isn't from British. Because if you look up Ligero, he's actually is a luchador. He's actually like from I think Mexico. And he was actually and then eventually went into the luchador, like started wearing the mask and stuff. I think when he went to what's now known as Defiant Wrestling, but it was known as WCPW back then, which is what Coach's wrestling promotion.
So we finally found somebody that knows more about indie stuff than you do.
Yeah, there's plenty of people. Shut up. All right.
Oh, he's offended by that. I apologize. You are the king of indie knowledge. The king of indie knowledge.
God, no, not even close. But
well, we're almost there. We're to the home stretch. I think this is going to end up being an hour and a half long video. So if we can cut it back and finish it now, we are on to the main event.
Yes.
It is Zach Gibson versus Trent Seven, and this ain't no squash match. This is a showcase match. These two both look great.
Yep.
I could not call for the life of me who was going to win this match until the very end, and then it just made sense. How'd you like the match, Owen?
Fantastic. I loved it. My favorite spot in the match was I don't know if you watched any of Mustache Mountain and Undisputed Era's matches, but they did a callback. I'm jumping ahead, but Tyler Bate comes out during the match, and Zach Gibson gets Trent Seven into the Chanley Gates. I think that's how you pronounce that.
Shankly Gates, I think.
Shankly Gates.
Shankly Gates.
Shankly Gates, okay. And they before an NXT Tag Team title match, when Mustache Mountains lost the belts, Tyler Bate threw in the towel, causing them to lose the match. And I thought they were going to redo that finish because Trent Seven was reaching for the ropes, and I thought Tyler Bate was going to throw in the towel, but that didn't happen. But I still thought it was awesome. It showed that Trent Seven was really resilient to want to win this match and didn't want to give up.
Well, I tell you what we did have. We had something that was unexpected to me. I don't know about you guys, but when James Drake came out and attacked Tyler Bate and like sided himself with Zach Gibson, essentially, I was extremely surprised by that.
For me, that I was shocked, but then all of a sudden I was like, well, this makes sense. You look at the way the two both carried themselves, and you look at Drake, who's not really established yet, and then you have Gibson, who's undoubtedly the most hated man, and I don't know if it's just like the NXT UK or just the United Kingdom in general.
Probably
yes. Like they hate him. Yes, but if he's hitching his wagon to him, that's another great tag team that we can look forward to in that tournament. Naturally.
Well, speaking of tag teams, after we get this causes the win.
Yeah.
He comes down, and I can't remember. Oh, it was such a blur at the end. But he attacks Bate, and then he helps Gibson win. I think he grabs his arm during a roll-up pin.
Yes.
And gives him the leverage to keep it for a 3, and then immediately pulls him out of the ring.
Yes. And they make
clever finish.
Yeah, and then they make their way back up the ramp, only for Mustache Mountain to get attacked by the Coffee Brothers.
Speaking of tag teams, the Coffee Brothers.
Yep. So now they're really, really driving home about this whole tag team.
Well, this faction with them and Wolfgang.
Yes.
Because as you pointed out to me, this show ended this episode the same way it did last episode, with Wolfgang and the Coffee Brothers standing tall in the ring.
Yes. And I'm starting to think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that. It wouldn't shock me if they go all the way in this tournament that hasn't even been established for tag belts we have not seen yet. And I'm thinking that they're going to institute that whole Freebird rule with the belts with them, and
maybe,
and that way that either Coffee Brother can team with Wolfgang or they can team together. Either way, but it's actually building towards it. But at the same time, this is all great program and all, but this is also coming out this is also supposed to be another night that's supposed to be shining more on the whole women's tournament, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the guys and all, but geez.
I don't think they made too much mention during this episode of the foreseeable tag team championships. So.
Yeah, but it's, you know it's in the back of people's minds, too.
But at the same time, 2 of the matches we had on the show were the quarterfinal matches for the women's tournament, so
yes.
They wouldn't mention them then anyway.
Yeah.
But that brings us to the end of the main event.
Yep.
And around here, we do main events by the spot of tea. Out of 5 spots of tea. Well, first of all, do you have any final thoughts on this match?
Yeah. So, one final thing they did another video on YouTube where the Coffee Brothers and Wolfgang attacked Mustache Mountain again, and they actually teased that they're going to do Wolfgang and the Coffee Brothers versus the British Invasion. I don't think that's the name of the team, but it's Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven.
I think they call them British Strong Style. Yeah.
British Strong Style. Because throughout that attack, they took out Trent Seven and trapped his injured leg, underneath one of the equipment boxes that you see all the time backstage. And they said 1 down, 2 to go. So I think they're on a mission to take out British Strong Style completely. So I'm actually looking forward to that.
Yeah, storylines abound, man. I'm looking forward to the next episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So out of 5,
I'm sure they'll follow up on it on the next episode, because this is like NXT, where sometimes they wait a week to follow up on it. They'll probably wait like a week, and then they'll follow. Next week they'll probably do something else, and then they'll follow up on it.
Or they may start off the show with like events that followed, the taping from.
Yeah, they'll show the clip that you saw that we didn't see that was on WWE.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, out of 5 spots of tea, where would you rate this main event? That includes everything, both the beatdowns and except the stuff that didn't air on UK.
I'll give it I gotta give it 4 3/4. I really enjoyed it. It was just underneath 5 stars. Not 5 stars, but 5 cups of tea. Because I have like a method where if I have to ask myself if it's worth 5 cups of tea, then I think when you if you know something's 5 cups of tea, you instantly know. You don't even have to question it.
But you say it's close. You're saying 4 3/4.
Yeah, very close.
That is probably the highest rating we've done on this show yet.
Yes.
Or what's NXT? Huh?
He's making history.
Making history, absolutely.
Well, he is the first male tea guest we've actually had.
Yeah, that's true. Our first super fan. I hope you don't mind we call you a super fan, but you
no, I don't mind at all.
You interact plenty with the No DQ Galaxy, so we appreciate that.
Yes.
And we especially appreciate you being on the show. So making history with the highest marks yet. General Slaughter, where do you rate this main event?
I actually rank it over the one that we had last time with the Wolfgang versus I forgot his name already.
It was
Ashton Smith.
Yeah.
I actually rank it over that. It did like the last one. Didn't really tell a story. The story actually developed afterwards with all the these new tag teams forming, but at the same time, Wolfgang and the Coffee Brothers standing proudly in the ring. I like this match, even with all of the interferences and everything, because also I was very underwhelmed with Trent Seven in the past couple of matches I've actually seen him in. So for him to actually be pulling off some more impactful moves, showing a lot more to me of what he could actually pull off in the ring and his resiliency. Because he got put in Shankly Gates for quite some time.
This is the most entertaining that I've seen Trent Seven in a singles match.
And he was like, that arm of his was just being tortured. And even like what kind of put it over top of me, because it was about 3 3/4 like already, because I was like, this is really great.
Yeah.
But then he gets trying to get pumped up in the ring, and he like slams both of his fists into the mat. And you can see him grab his arm right at the same time, just really playing it up and really just like getting more and more into this match. And that got me more into the match. So I automatically have to put it at 4.
4?
Yes.
I'm actually going to, I think for the first time ever, I'm going to agree with you solidly at a 4. it didn't tell a story that really bridged outside of the match, but within the match itself, the progression of it was the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was enough of a story there. It was a really good match. It was a good ending. The unexpected interference with
James Drake.
Yeah, with Drake. And I don't think it's 5 stars. I'm going to call it... You know what? Off the back of a really good show, almost a great show, in fact.
Yeah.
I mean, did we have 5 matches in this show? We had 2 quarterfinals matches. We had the 2 squash matches.
Yeah.
And then we had this main event. 5-match show. Everything was great. I'm going to bump this up the standard quarter for coming off the back of a great show. I'm going to call it 4 1/4.
Yep, that works.
4 1/4 spots of tea for me for this episode number 8 of NXT UK. And that will wrap up this episode of our NXT party.
Yes, it is.
This is normally where we invite the NXT fans and the NoDQ.com Galaxy to join us. Currently, we don't have a guest for next week. If you are available on Thursday night, let's say around 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock a.m. on Eastern Time, that's 11 o'clock to 12 or 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I think, on Pacific Time. If you're available at those hours, I know they're really weird, but it's our work hours. Sorry about that, guys. We'd love to have you on the show. If you're available again next week and nobody else is, if you'd like to be on the show and can, we would love to have you. This was great. I really am impressed by your knowledge of indie wrestling.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I want to give you the opportunity to plug whatever you have to plug.
I have 3 YouTube channels to plug. My wrestling YouTube channel, Wrestling Fortune 44, and then my non-wrestling YouTube channel, Owen the Talkinator, and then my just little side YouTube channel, CM Brothers.
Do me a favor, because you've got me on social media, correct? Well,
I do.
Send me the links to all 3 of those channels. I want to subscribe. I will be the first after this video to subscribe to all of his channels, because that's how much I appreciate him being on the show. I have amazing news for everybody. Even though nobody has left the comments that I've been asking for, somehow I managed to talk this guy into getting himself a Twitter.
Yep.
Do you have a Twitter or anything to plug?
I can't get on Twitter because it got blocked because I added too many stuff to my playlist, and it probably thinks I got hacked, so they they blocked my Twitter.
Are you like us? Do you not plug your Facebook?
I've learned not to plug my Facebook because you get a lot.
Good man.
You become like Aaron Rift, where you get a lot of fake accounts.
Well, that too. So I want to give this guy the opportunity to plug his brand new, drum roll please, Twitter account.
It's NoDQ at NoDQ General, capital N-O, capital D-Q, capital G General. And that's going to be, I guess, my Twitter handle. And if you want to talk wrestling and whatnot, go ahead and hit me up on there. Follow me. I won't be on there frequently, but I will be on enough to,
If you've got notifications, you'll be they'll let you know when somebody follows you, and they'll let you know when somebody sends you a message or tweets about you. So.
I'm new to Tweetiverse. So
if you did not decipher that the first time, that is at NoDQ General.
Yes. On
Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. Just go to nodq.com/Stefan, Stefan, or just go on Twitter, search for Stefan R. Osborne, Osborne. That is probably the best place to hit me up if you want to be on our next NXT party or a future NXT party. This guy got me on Facebook before I started giving out my Facebook. But honestly, I'm really glad he did. This has been an awesome episode. I want to thank everybody for joining us for this NXT party. And lead us out, my man.
And thank you. And next time.
I put him on the spot.
Yeah.
Thank you, NoDQ Galaxy, for watching us. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all of your wrestling news and rumors. And please come have a spot of NXT with us. Bye, everybody.